As you contemplate why it's near impossible to put away your smartphone, even as hours slip past mindlessly scrolling through social media, imagine the words transforming into a vibrant, animated smartphone on screen. It's not just a habit, it's a science-backed phenomenon known as social media addiction. As the term social media addiction echoes, a flurry of scientific symbols swirl around the screen, subtly transitioning into next point. Your brain, an intricate organ, is designed to reward pleasurable activities such as eating, exercising, or bonding with loved ones. Picture the brain in vivid 3D, glowing as it lights up during these activities. This reward system is activated by a neurotransmitter named dopamine. Animated dopamine molecules start bouncing around the brain, indicating the feel-good hormone at work, providing a rush of pleasure, making us want to repeat actions that led to this sensation. Now envision a social media post popping up on the screen, accumulating likes, shares, and comments. Each interaction triggers a dopamine release in the brain, illustrated by a burst of sparkling particles. This results in a sense of satisfaction and pleasure. A smooth transition then carries you into a cycle of posts and dopamine bursts, showing how, over time, your brain starts linking social media use with feeling good. This captivating visual journey ends with the phrase social media addiction appearing on screen, solidifying the concept in the viewer's mind. As the narration unfolds, a vibrant animation of a dopamine molecule dances across the screen, emphasizing the point that there's more at work than just this chemical. A smooth, professional fade-out transition paves the way for the next point, the fear of missing out, or FOMO, portrayed by a gripping animation of anxiously staring at a never-ending social media timeline. An evolving infographic dynamically tracks a continual stream of digital updates, intuitively illustrating the concept that social media platforms constantly bombard us with new information. A dramatic transition, shifting the scene to a ticking clock, symbolizes our constant worry about missing something important if we don't regularly check in. This worry, represented by an animation of a looming dark cloud, keeps us ensnared, continually pressing us to check our feeds for the latest posts and updates. A final seamless transition takes us to the conclusion, setting the stage with an animation of an individual compulsively scrolling through their feed, unable to resist the pull of social media. As you ponder, how do we overcome this addiction? The first step flares up on your screen: awareness. An animated brain diagram slides into view, illuminating the science behind social media addiction, helping you recognize your behavior patterns and triggers. As the brain fades out, the next point swirls into focus: setting boundaries. A digital clock animates on the screen, designating specific times during the day for social media use. The clock hand whirls around, sticking to the set times. A difficult task indeed. A smartphone ascends from the bottom, showing apps that can be used to limit your time on these platforms if you find adhering to the set boundaries a hurdle. As the phone descends, the screen transitions to a new strategy, replacing social media time. Animated icons of a dumbbell, a book, and a family appear, symbolizing exercising, reading a book, and spending time with loved ones, respectively. These activities also trigger a dopamine release, acting as a perfect substitute to the digital world. The icons dissolve, revealing a human silhouette, symbolizing the final point, creating healthier habits. This way, you're not only breaking the cycle of addiction, but you're also forming habits that have a positive impact on your overall well-being, demonstrated by the silhouette glowing radiantly as the screen fades to black. Drawing to a close, the intricate problem of social media addiction is brought to light, stimulated by our brain's inherent reward system and our fear of missing out. Let's visualize this with a dynamic brain animation. Moving forward, by understanding the science behind it, we can begin to address this issue. Cue a professional transition here. The next step is setting boundaries, which we'll present with an animation of walls being built around a smartphone. Transitioning smoothly to the next point, we replace social media time with healthier activities, illustrated with an animated switch from a phone to a soccer ball or a book. Pause for a moment. Remember, social media should amplify your life, not dictate it. Let's reinforce this message with an animation of a scale, balancing a smartphone and a vibrant life on either. Let's ponder. In an era where we're more connected than ever before, Isn't our goal to make those connections meaningful rather than mindless? I'll depict this with an animation of deep heart-to-heart connections replacing shallow, mindless ones. Keeping the flow, it's all about equilibrium and making informed choices. Here, let's use a transition to an animation of a person thoughtfully choosing between different options. After all, you're the master, not your smartphone. To emphasize this, an animation of a puppeteer controlling a smartphone can be used, concluding in the bigger picture, social media is merely a tool. A smooth, professional transition leads us to the closing animation. A tool morphing into various shapes, symbolizing different impacts. It's the way we utilize it that decides its influence on our lives.